Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Who's Taking Watch? The Dragon's Might. My name is Brad, and I will continue to be your DM for just a little while longer for this arc set in the world of Robert Jordan's The Wheel of Time. Who's with me?
I'm Zach, and I'll be playing Dirk
Well,
for only a little bit longer.
Well, he's so sad today.
I'm Victor, and I'll be playing Lior.
For only a little bit longer.
I am Michelle, and I will be playing Tal.
That's an interesting change.
Not, shockingly enough, not the other way around.
For just a tad longer.
And I'm Marty, playing Paige.
Wow, it feels like only Zach is sad that this campaign's ending. I'm just gonna make a mental note of that for things.
I was very focused on getting my names in the right order.
Like, honestly, people might try and dunk on you for that, but it's really hard to talk. So I can relate with that. So I'm going to go ahead and do some talking. For those of you who've been along for the ride, welcome back. And if you're just joining us, you might want to start at the beginning, but here's a little bit of a sort of encapsulation of what we're all about. Who's Taking Watch is a anthology-style D&D actual play show where we all take turns sending each other on journeys for some, I'm bringing it back, non-canonical jaunts through some of our favorite worlds of fiction, imagining places on the periphery of the main plot where we might be able to tell a side story of what's going on in the world around that befits the hooliganery of a 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons adventuring party. So as I mentioned before, this arc is set in the world of the Wheel of Time, and it's rapidly coming to its conclusion. So much is going on. There's, being pulled up from strings on all sides, escaping fireball after fireball, just so many calamitous fireballs in this campaign. I love it. And because these guys did escape one real bad one, we have one final level up. So everyone's done their work on the side of what they're doing with their characters, and we just got to roll some dice. Who's going to start this time?
Huzzah! No, it's a 3.
Yes! Finally!
All right. 4. Middle of the road.
Okay.
Oh, an 8.
Ooh, nice. Very good, very good.
11 health.
And Martin.
Tonight's the night, baby.
Tonight's the night.
Have you ever rolled a 6?
I did once at level 1.
You didn't roll that.
No, that's
that's
automatic.
Well, you know what, you guys?
I'll take all the
Leave me
ones I
alone,
can.
all right?
Yeah.
Good juju.
4!
Hey, what you would get if you took standard. That's good.
You forbade me from taking standard.
I did
have
very
returned
much. I did very much.
to the status quo. I'm very
Yes,
happy.
Good for you. With the help of a little feat, you have managed to return to the status quo.
Correct.
So, now that these guys have a little bit more vitality, they're going to need it. And to figure out how we get to that point of putting them in peril once more, we're going to go ahead and turn the page and enter the next chapter of Who's Taking Watch? The Dragon's Might.
We're level 8.
So, last time we left off, you guys were just coming down off of the end of sort of 3 days of espionage, figuring out sort of different threads that were going on in the camp of the dragon, Logain Ablar, who had enlisted your help to try and figure out, well, if some people were acting against his interests, who else was? Your time and your planning was cut short in the middle of a bit of an argument between Dirk and Paige about Paige withholding information of Aes Sedai being in the camp.
Not an argument. Just
Well,
a quick chat.
Just, super interesting that you wouldn't think it's an argument when it's not your ass on the line. But that was interrupted by Captain Eric Porcel, who seemingly was openly disregarding some of Logain's orders in bringing prisoners to camp, who caught on to your guys' questioning. I can't imagine how. Maybe it was just accusing him to his face, but it could be anything else too.
Could be anything.
He brought you in for a stressful trial of sorts with the Council of Five, with Logain and Lena and John, Sammy, and himself. Now, accusations were levied at you, but because of a very insightful read by Paige and an almost insightful read by Martin, you guys were able to know that this was going to turn back on Eric.
We didn't need to go back there.
Eric's... I super did. Eric's plot worked against him as he thought that he had stacked the guards with his own men, but had it turned back around on him. Now, Eric was disgraced and being led to the edge of camp by the dragon. And while you guys were sort of celebrating your victory, another person emerged back in the tent, John. This stone-faced channeling man who revealed himself to be taking sort of secondhand advice from the Dark One himself, and was convinced that you, Dirk, were going to be the undoing of all of the good that Logain's movement had achieved. While you guys were distracted in there, a fight broke out outside as Eric tried to summon the men loyal to him to break him free. In a tense combat, you guys managed to fight through fire and electricity to weaken John to a point that he felt his only way out was to take you with him. And because you have a very specific set of skills with danger sense and the gift of the chromatic alleged dragon, you guys survived a massive fireball that erupted while Tal and Paige were outside attempting to aid the forces of the dragon and Sammy under siege by Eric. The combination of that as a distraction and your help in rallying the troops around Sammy was enough to let Logain fight back and turn the army aside as the rebel soldiers scatter off into the night, and cornered with nowhere for his silver tongue to work himself, Eric was silenced once and for all by the Dragon Reborn. He then turned around to see his people, who took a step back from him in fear, and he looked at you all, saying, "Well, we've done it now. The dragon's might is revealed." And that's where we pick up, as he turns and looks to be gathering his thoughts to say something to his people. Do any of you have anything to add in first?
I'll just look to Leor, who's come hobbling out of this burning tent with me, and go, "Are you okay?"
Well, we're alive, so I think we'll be okay.
Barely. Tal? Do I see Tal?
Yeah, you see Tal.
Good. You're
Hey.
okay.
Yeah. Are you okay?
Yeah, I think I'm losing more hair than I'd want to. But that was a close fireball. That was crazy. That was crazy.
Dirk, was that you? What caused that?
No, that was John. And I'll look to Logain, and I'll just be like, John just... I don't know if he was with you, but he's gone.
He just looks at you when you say that was John, and when you look at him and say John just, and sort of like stumble a bit, like recognition immediately sets in his eyes, and he just deflates a little. Give me an insight check, actually.
Oh boy.
Big Bertha.
Wow.
That was a journey.
8.
Wow, big wind up.
Yeah.
Yeah, his shoulders kind of like just deflate a little bit, and he sighs, and he goes, "So it's over then?"
I think so. I didn't look for a body, but it looks like it's over.
Yes. Well, a shame it came about for him. A shame he couldn't quite hold out.
Yeah. What? Like, are we surrounded by people?
There's people sort of like, they're not like right next to you, but like a quiet has fallen over the camp that is only disrupted by the crackling of flames. There are people around. Reg is helping up Sammy still from the ground. The sort of troops around the dragon, some are standing close by him. Some, having just fought for him, are looking around a little bit at the cabin, the hut that he has just smoked out with Eric behind this wall of fire that he channeled, and they're sort of trying to look like they're defending their leader, but at the same time like licking their lips a little bit and darting their eyes around a little nervously at each other.
Yeah, I was gonna start saying like something about John, and so I'll go like, I thought you said you were, and I'll just kind of recognize that we're in like a public place.
Yeah, and he sort of gives you a look,
Yeah.
like not now.
Well, it's a good thing we got those traitors.
Yes. It would seem we had traitors in our midst. And turns around and is now addressing the crowd, who take a second sort of like step back from him. And he just looks around and looks at the people who are sort of like looking at him with equal parts reverence and fear at this point. And he goes, if anyone wishes to finish what Arik started, you know where to find me. Good night. And stomps back towards the ruined giant war tent. You see as he's going, shoots out a gust of wind that knocks back some of it. As he's walking towards the partitioned off section that was his resting place, you see a little bit of water from the air around him gets condensed with wind, blows out the drapes. He just walks in, and without touching them, the drapes close behind him, and he's just in this cubicle in the middle of like this smoldering, kind of burning area with a ring around it, now free of fire, and people are just looking.
I think he's upset. We should probably have a look at the camp, see who deserted, see who stayed, see who needs tending to.
Did Lena make it out safely? She was in the tent and then she ran, which was what she was supposed to do, but did she get caught, or is she...
Give me like a perception check.
Sure.
She ran.
No, I
She
have-
left the tent.
Yeah.
Yes, she did leave the tent, but he's wondering if like she made it to a
Ran.
safe
You have
point.
exhaustion.
Into a
I
sword
do.
or something.
Oh
I
my
do.
god.
You do have
Yes.
exhaustion.
Oh my god.
Goodbye, Nat 20. It is a 13 instead.
Not 20. A 13 instead. Yeah, actually not too much time has elapsed. You see that she hasn't gotten very far. And pretty impressively, you do see that she has now run over to where Sammy is, and he has waved her off, and she's now running over with like what remains of like a little herbalism kit that she had around her, not the full stock of supplies that she had on a little side table in the main tent, but is running around to injured soldiers that had tried to defend Logain and trying to like apply a salve or something like that.
But she's not going to Logain. She's going to the people.
She is currently not going to Logain. You might have seen her like faint towards him, and then he stormed off and started channeling things out of the way, and you saw this look of maybe not now, and is tending to the people around. Yes.
Paige will run to Lena and take out her healer's kit and see if she can aid Lena in any way. And as she gets down on one knee to kind of let her know what she's there for, she's going to say, Lena, I'm I'm sorry about the trick the other day. I wasn't entirely sure whose side everyone's on. I'm here to help.
And you thought that a way to ingratiate yourself to, or maybe stay off the radar of someone, was to apply scorching hot fire to the unmentionables of a potential enemy?
You see, you're far stronger than the potential enemies I've met. So some of them have been put out for weeks by this, but you are back in action.
By sheer force of will alone.
Stupendous, really.
She goes, actually, and you see the man that she's tending to is starting to drift out of consciousness a bit. And she goes, actually, do you have any more of that right now?
Certainly.
Give me a medicine check with advantage.
These are the worst smelling salts I've ever heard of.
Oh, that's horrible. Can you imagine? You're passing out due to unmentionable pain, and you're brought back by unmentionable pain.
I'm gonna reroll.
He's applying
one
it
of
to the
them.
wound. To the wound. It's a chest wound.
I'm gonna do a magic. I got a 9 and a 13. I'm gonna reroll the 9 if I can with a magical guidance. Can I do that?
Yeah, totally.
It's still a 13. So in total, it's a 13.
You don't have anything to medicine?
I had triple advantage, and I didn't have anything to medicine.
God, well, I mean, you stabilize. It's a good thing you didn't get that 9. But you do sort of like, you see drifting out, and she's going, stay with me, and you just reach in past her with this like red paste and stick your thumb deep into the wound and maybe a little bit subtly, not enough to cost you a spell slot or anything like that, but you do weave just like a little, whatever the like cantrip equivalent is for healing. Yeah. And just to channel a little bit of that in there, and this man is already like fading, and healing takes so much of the person's own strength that you only dare to use a little bit, and it instantly knocks him out, but you can tell right away that he's stabilized, and as long as that wound is tended to, he will make a full recovery.
Perfect.
What if you had got that 9? Would you have finished him off?
You would have died in burning agony.
I cast inflict wounds.
You know when I was telling everyone not to reset your HP?
It was for me. I'll say, great work, Lena. Let's get the next one, and then with
Yes.
her, we'll methodically.
And you guys just sort of form like this little medical triage. And there's a couple other people that work their way around. You see one soldier joins in with you guys. Doesn't have any salves, but is like quite skilled with bandaging. Some that are like clearly like, you know, maybe their set of skills is best suited to being a medic, but because of this world, that's not what's expected of them. So they're mostly soldiers, but now there's a chance for them to use that. But you form sort of a small crew and walk around healing up those who have been hurt defending Logain.
Right.
I would have been with Sammy
for sure.
when the fighting stopped.
Yeah.
And I'd like to kind of sling my arm over his shoulder and be like, wow, you know, like a surefire mark of a fire. Sorry. A surefire mark of a good leader is, you know, finding those pockets of people who are just working against you and taking them out immediately. And any leader who doesn't have the ability to channel would have done so by, you know, like hanging them or burning them at the stake. And it's just really convenient that, and I'm trying to make it seem as if the execution of Eric was something beneficial and something to be expected from any leader, and trying to detract from the unnaturalness of it.
Okay. And you're trying to like pitch your voice out of the volume so that it's overheard.
So like I'm
by...
talking to Sammy, but I'm talking to the people.
You're right next to me. I can fully
Yeah,
hear
and
you.
isn't it really helpful, Sammy?
Oh, you know, I think my ears got a little wrong, so I do need you to speak up a little bit. Yeah.
I bet the ringing in your ears from all the battle. Let me speak a little louder.
Okay, for sure. Can you give me a like performance check or maybe persuasion?
Could I?
Lena, why are they yelling?
What's up?
Could I, just before she does that? 'cause
What?
It'll... I'm not gonna yell. Before I go, I would just tell Dirk, I don't think he might be willing to listen to reason, but he might be willing to listen to you. And I'll Dirk is crazy now.
Low-key shade.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
No reason.
Lior's gonna leave Dirk and is gonna do similar to what Tal is doing with like Sammy and the soldiers. Is gonna go to like the children and the women, and is going to do a similar spin, but in the sense of like this is going to go down in the history books when the dragon, was in the age of legends, and talk about exploits that the dragon did and how he had to showcase his own might.
Okay.
Not talking about the tragedy where he killed all his family, but just talking about the kind of, in a way, trying to not glorify it, but just trying to make it more digestible.
Okay.
Rationalize it.
Yeah.
Rationalize it.
Yeah.
I'm the same. I'm
Because-
not trying to make it glorified. It's rationalized.
Rationalize. So that's
To take away the fear.
persuasion and not performance. And for you, I'm going to say, because I feel bad punishing you for that great idea, I'm going to say that's a history check because you're invoking all the stories and how this is going to go down in history.
14.
14. Okay, great.
Is Sammy helping me?
Sammy is helping you.
Advantage?
Yes.
Hey!
Yeah, because, you have to do
14.
things a certain way. It's the same. I'm not doing that much. Yeah. You see the soldiers around go, yes, of course. I mean, that's, you use the powers that are available to you, and this is the movement we're standing behind, and of course it's only normal. Yes, of course. This was sane and cool and normal. And you see that,
Well,
like,
cool. Cool is a stretch.
This is normal. We should do this every day.
there's one soldier who's like, no, that was pretty cool. Like, who was not thrown by much of it at all. He's
Yeah.
like, this is honestly exactly what I signed up for. But you seem to be sort of like getting people going, yeah, no, if I guess I could think about it that way, for sure. How'd you do?
15.
15.
Yeah, with
I was
disadvantage.
gonna say, and like don't you have like a -1? Oh
No,
no,
history.
History.
Yes.
With disadvantage, that's great.
Yeah.
You're exhausted and you're like, what do I have? Stories. Books! And you get a second win, and you go over to the woman who had slammed one of the rebel soldiers with a pot that is now, she's just sitting there holding it, and it's like scorched and still vibrating with some like weird crackling energy because on a really good group check, I had said that like part of Loghain's channeling went into it. And she's just sort of staring at it in a little bit of shock.
Wow.
Lior, Tad is going, he's sort of like looked over to you and like while you were walking around just grabbed your hand and said, can you come and if you're not too busy, can you come talk to my mom? And she's just sitting there. He's like, hey mom, the friend I was telling you about, he's here. Mom, and she's just like not really responding and just staring at this pan that's in her hand and shaking.
Yeah, Lior's just gonna gently go and put a hand over hers on the handle and just help put it down. And what you did was incredible. It could go down into the age of legends.
Let me tell you about it.
Yes, Lior. Hyper up.
You see that like that's just such a wild approach to calm someone down, but you see that like the little glint of her that like came to this movement because she thought it would be exciting, and she was like, really? Do you think I'll like get my own paragraph or just like really trying to calm down?
You hear Tal call over, cook some bacon in it, it'll be right as rain.
Okay.
It's a very Tal comment.
It's a super
It's
Tal
actually, and Sammy's going, it's a cast iron pot, so like any of this is gonna like add to the future base.
Sammy was so much worse than me.
But you are sort of going like, yes, of course, and in the Age of Legends, great feats were weapons that worked with the power, and mundane became incredible. And Tad's going, and there was like a whole group of people who flew on unicorns, and it's just a story. I know they're not real, but are they real? And he's just like trying to add on to your story, and you're kind of just going, sure.
Whatever it takes in this moment.
But you're working it in, and eventually there is like a sort of like group of like women and children sort of like rally themselves around you. Kids that you've never seen before are like each holding on to like one of your fingers, and you're sort of just calming everyone down.
I will take Lior's advice because I had questions myself anyway. And I'm gonna go follow the dragon, but I like to do it stealthily. So like while they're distracting everybody, just kind of fade off into the shadows.
Yes. Give me a stealth check.
Yeah.
That was a ride.
21.
21.
Wow.
You do fade pretty successfully into the shadows, and there's a lot of firelight going on right now. Lots of shadows to melt into. Yeah, you are able to sort of like slip away from notice as you go off to speak to Logain. Do you make your approach known to Logain?
Yeah, like I won't sneak up on him.
Sure. You walk up and just out of sort of propriety, clear your throat. You haven't let go of it yet.
Sorry. And like I'll have to stand there for like a little bit of time, but I'm gonna try to let go of it.
Yeah. Give me, you're gonna be able to, but give me a wisdom save.
No. See, I shouldn't have fixed what's broke. I shouldn't have changed dice. Okay, that's not too bad. Wisdom save is 14.
Yeah, 100%. You're able to, it's less like you're staying there and going, come on.
Yeah.
But it's an old lighter that isn't quite catching as quickly as it used to, but you know that about the fourth or fifth try, you can get it. And you turn it off and walk in, and he's just sitting on the bed, a spot of it that is not blackened, and he goes, good, I needed to know that you could let go of it if you needed to.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't had that much trouble with it yet. But I don't know who you have left, but I thought you said you were helping John.
John came to me just under 2 years ago. And he was a man who had not seen much out of his family's farm in the mountains in the north, and I was a man who had not seen much out of my family's estate. We learned so much together, and, of course, knowing what I know about who I am, I did not expect that I would fall ill, but at a certain point, I think I had taken it for granted that John might be spared the fate by just being around me. He was an idealist, and always thought of the way that this movement could grow the most, what we might be able to do to best build for a better world, but in the last... I thought the world was making him cynical, but eventually it became clear that he wasn't able to see the ideal anymore. What had taken him, in more ways than one, took the future away from John. I kept him close by my counsel so I could keep an eye on him, but... And he looks up at you, and his eyes are glistening a little bit. He goes, I guess I couldn't keep him quite close enough. And you're struck in this moment, the similarities in this incredibly powerful man with a noble background, with an army at his back, even still after it is fractured, with the strongest ability that reportedly the world has seen in 100 years. And you're struck by how similar he feels to the powerless archer that you met outside of Samara, who was just trying to get his cousin north and was just heartbroken that he couldn't hold out long enough. You're just struck by how similar they seem powerless in that sentiment.
Did you know this was going to happen to him?
Not this. I thought that there might be a time when he became more obviously a danger to himself or a danger to me. I knew that it was possible, but that's why I stayed close by him, so that I could stop whatever was happening. But it's not something that you can predict.
Do you think that's going to happen to me?
And he looks at you, and he says, Dirk, if you believe one thing of me, believe this. I don't want to wait around anymore. I want to finish this so that there are no more Johns. Do you understand? The quicker that we can defeat the Dark One and end the hold that the Shadow has over the world, the better chance that we have of this never happening to anyone again.
Oh, and that's what you're doing. We're fighting the Dark One.
Yes.
I'm actually quite skilled at that, so...
I imagine you are.
It tracks. Yeah. It's just... If John could lose sight of who he's following and what his goal is, how do you know when any of us have lost sight? Whether it's you, me...
The Shadow works in subtle ways. It isn't always a Drakkar flying out of the sky to sing you to sleep. It isn't always one of the half-men fixing you with their gaze. Sometimes it's complacency. Sometimes it's doubt. I would be a fool to believe that my months spent up here are not some sort of manifestation of that.
John said that, the Dark One talked to him. Did he talk to you too?
He did, but he has ceased some time ago. It has been months. This man with fire in his eyes and a furnace for a mouth, he seemed to be convinced that he could bend me merely in a dream away from my purpose, and I suppose that after some time he grew tired, seeing that I would resist. He first wanted to convince me that I was not who I am, and I can't be shaken of that. And then he tried to convince me that I could serve and be more powerful than I am on my own, and I would not listen. And I suppose that it wasn't much of a surprise when your friend Tala showed me that letter calling for my head. If I won't join him, I'm of no use to him.
My friends and I, their minds have been changed somewhat since being here. I mean, we've helped stop 2 assassination attempts so far.
Right.
So there's a degree of trust that I have towards you right now.
Yes.
And I need to know, do you trust me?
Yes, Dirk. I trust you.
You will let my friends leave without being harmed?
I would be sad to be the poorer for my defenses, but a deal is a deal. Your friends have proven themselves to not be assassins coming from my throat. Quite the opposite. You may all leave if you wish.
They will leave. I will be staying with you. But we need to leave almost immediately.
We leave at first light in the morning.
She didn't bring them here. But there are sisters here. We need to leave.
How many?
I don't know. I think 4. I don't know. A group. There may be a warder.
Oh my god.
Then you're very right, Dirk. We do need to leave. But if they've been here for some time, I am happier to take my chances for one more night that they would be foolish enough to come for me this evening.
I will see my friends out, and I will stay by your side since you don't have John or Eric anymore.
Wherever you do stay, Dirk, do get some rest. You look like you've honestly kind of like cooked a little bit.
Yeah, John's a real hothead.
Just like a little, cries a little bit.
So yeah, my best friend.
Why don't you give me a few minutes, Dirk? Maybe I'm not ready for jokes about John.
Too soon, Dirk. He was so level-headed.
But
Kind of read the sad room.
I'll find you tomorrow at dawn.
I won't be difficult to find. I intend to keep my promise. I want to make sure that none who wish to be here know they are free to leave.
Good.
I will have to speak to everyone, and then we shall depart.
Good. The sooner the better.
Dirk, as you go to leave, there are great things ahead for you and I both.
I can feel it.
I can too.
And I'll walk out and I'll try to find my friends.
Okay. Yeah, they, there's probably still a circle of Lior talking, hanging out. Tala, yeah.
I will have started following the people who are working as medics and just doing my best to, wash bandages and mainly distract the people who are undergoing treatment from their pain with absolutely ridiculous stories about Samuel as a child.
Okay.
It's like, and then just clear out of the blue when Mama wasn't looking, he decided to go outside.
They respect me. They respect me. You have to
just
stop.
Mama's frilly apron and nothing else, and started making mud pies.
Oh, you can't.
In the
You
garden.
have to stop listening. That's an order. You have to stop listening. That's an order. And Sammy, horrified, holding the bucket of water that you're rinsing bandages in, just like so not. He's like, you listen. Everyone had difficult things that sound bad when you say them as an adult and not 7 years old or 8 years old or whatever.
That's old, Sammy.
No, it's not. And you wouldn't even remember that. You were not even born. So what's going on here?
I heard the story enough. When you hear a story often,
who did you
feel
hear
like
them from?
You were there.
Who did you hear them from? Cyrus and Otto?
Mama.
Oh, that's probably a good source. And you see Tala.
That's why she tied me to the barn instead of just letting me go.
You see Tala that you are having this weird. This is working quite well. This is incredibly distracting. Of it's the equivalent of the Comedy Central roast of the Department of Defense. It's a weird disorienting humanizing effect that you're having that is there, and you could see at a certain point too, you have high enough insight, you could see that Sammy is leaning into it a little bit because you could tell that this is working, but you could tell that you're sort of giving all of these soldiers who are scarred either mentally or physically right now to sort of bounce back a little bit, and at a certain point Sammy turns to you and goes, you turned the tide of that entire fight. We were gone for sure until you rallied them.
I rallied them for you.
Sure, maybe they rallied for me. But you're the one who did that, Tala. That's all you.
Nah, they knew what I was saying was the right thing to do. They trust their Captain Millen.
Tal, I'm a captain here by default. Look at our family. I'm not a captain. I was out there doing the execution of what the captains wanted. I'm an excellent tactical operative. Felix can lead. Otto and Cyrus, they can't lead. Julian, I don't think it's in the cards, but you can do that.
You're forgetting one thing.
What's that?
I wasn't born a boy. I could probably sneak by for a couple years in the lower ranks with nobody looking at me too carefully, but any sort of upward mobility? I'd be caught out in a second.
Well, if you're willing to wait a few years, I mean, look where we are right now. The world's a changing place, Tal. Maybe there's always a way to carve out a spot for yourself if you're someone who can inspire. I'm telling you, you've inspired at least one of us.
No, I give him a noogie.
And while you're noogieing him, he goes, okay, moving forward, you have 2 uses of bardic inspiration and a d6.
Cool. Awesome.
That's awesome.
That's why I wanted to see your character sheets, because technically it's supposed to be your charisma score, and I was like, it's a 0. Okay, we're going to say 2 uses.
Cool.
That's cool.
Dope.
That's really good.
Awesome.
100%.
Awesome, thank you.
But you come out and you find her aggressively noogieing Sam while he's giving some weird, I guess it's like oddly specific like battle play calls that their family knows, or Legion of the Wall stuff, I guess.
I'll actually like stop and just take in like what my friends are doing and just like not interrupt, because this is gonna be like some of the last times I probably see them.
I'll plop back down. And then what he did to Oliver's horse.
What's your passive perception?
It's a 10.
You see Lena rub fire ant paste on the back of, right in the section of your back that no one can reach. Just goes
My
to
back?
your back, yes, with a 18 on stealth and sleight of hand. Goes and just rubs some of it in and goes like, "You've done great work today," and goes to like pat your back and then just like smears it in, and you know right away.
Ooh, that's warm. That's
Yes. How does it feel? How does it feel?
It's just a little bit. I think I'm gonna cry.
And Lior is like standing up and he goes, "And then when the great king Arthur Pendrag," and you're telling a story about Arthur Hawkwing, and built a statue, and as you go to say build the statue, you and hoist Tad up
Lion King style.
Lion King style, 80 feet in the air, and the other kids are going, "Whoa!" And you just sort of watch out and see like maybe the testament to your friends is that in the midst of this like horrible traumatic night, they're all outside cheering other people up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not made for that, so I'll just wait until they're ready. Kind of lean on a building and just kind of wait, stay out of the way.
While you're waiting on a building, another person comes and leans up next to you, and you hear, "Crazy night, huh?" And you look over and you see silver-haired, surly Reg standing next to you.
I like double check myself, make sure I'm not like connected to the one power, and then like, okay, sorry, the night, the explosion rocked my ears. Sorry, what was that?
Crazy night.
Crazy night indeed. Yeah. Reg, you were helping? I hope.
Of course. I hope you saw at the end, sort of the last line of defense is kind of a big deal.
To be honest, I got hit. I got knocked out a little bit.
Hey, it happens. No shame in that. No shame in that. Everyone gets knocked out a couple of times. They always say you're good for a good 4 or 5 concussions before it becomes
4 or 5.
Yeah, 4 or 5.
That's real. Okay, I'm only on number 3, so that's
You ration them out. You got
Inaccurate.
a long military career ahead of you, bud.
Not accurate.
I think it's pretty accurate.
Are you going to be moving with the dragon?
Yeah, as soon as he wants to move. I got a sense that might have accelerated things a little bit, huh?
You're telling me.
Yeah.
I'm new to this whole thing. Do you have a group? You're part of the command. Do you?
I lead a squadron, or I did earlier today. We'll have to see how many of those are still here,
Yeah.
still with us, and still with us. You know.
Yeah.
Listen, I hope you don't have the wrong idea of me. I mean, we spoke the other night, and I was with certain Eric.
Yeah. To be honest, I was a little worried.
Yeah, it's a professional relationship, you know.
Were you aware? Did you know anything?
Can't say I knew much of his inner plans. Guy sort of had different schemes operating for everybody he knew, it seemed.
Seems like everybody's got sometimes a double motive for being here.
Yeah. Do you want to give me some sort of role on
Yeah,
that? Sure. What is it?
I don't really know. I just kind of want to see if he's...
You can't say a line like that and not...
That might be
So
intimidation.
Like, more so, I want to see how he reacts to that, because I want to see, like, if he's going to allude to any other group that he's doing or anything that he's doing. Like, I want to see that slip of, like, oh, like...
Okay, so you want to make an insight.
Yeah, a
Okay,
little
I'll
bit.
contest that.
19.
I mean, I got a Yoga Lattes group that I run to really
With
loosen up.
with the ladies I saw you with.
Well, with my wife.
That was your wife.
Yeah, of course. She, for some reason, decided to follow me along on this crazy little adventure. But, no, I got a couple little groups. It's important to do things other than just be a war guy the whole time, you know?
For sure. I mean, if you're ever doing... I mean, I don't know if this place has films or moving pictures.
Sounds crazy, but continue.
But if you're ever doing a night where you played games on a board or table, I mean... I'd be willing to entertain. Do you do it with anybody else in the camp? Is it just you and your wife, or?
Do I make movies with my wife? What are you asking me here, kid? I don't even know what a movie is. This is a crazy conversation. Honestly, I think he probably goes, all right, well,
You
listen,
went
I
from
just...
yoga Lattes to board game group, like, wow.
Honestly, I mean, I know I'm to blame. I started with Yoga Lattes. He goes, okay, I think maybe I was wrong about the number of concussions. You might want to take it easy. Listen, I just came over to say that you've acquitted yourself quite well, and if you choose to keep traveling with us,
do.
you know, we'd be happy to have you aboard.
Thanks. If I ever need anything, I hope I can come to you.
Hey, absolutely. And just claps you on the shoulder and goes, have a
I'll
good night.
flinch a little bit and go, sorry, it's been a
Oh,
long
burn over there?
night." Yeah.
All right. You take care.
You too, Reg.
Walks off. And then you see your friends all sort of like focus up and recenter, and you guys see Dirk over by the side.
Right then, Thaddeus, the next story is on you.
All right, Sammy, I'll be back. And I just plop a soaking wet bandage right over his head. Okay.
A soaking wet bandage?
Yeah. I'm rinsing the bandage.
Okay,
It's
okay.
not blood.
Yeah. Oh my god, yeah. That's what I thought. I was like, this is
No. Water. Bloop. And I go to catch up with...
Okay. Yeah, and they post up, you guys post up over with Dirk, who's sort of like leaning away on the side.
So if there's a moment, I would like to see if while tending to my back, if Lucille is there, and I'll say, hey, excuse me, can you help me with this? Get this burning medicine off of me, and then ask her, how are the sisters? How did that go down? Is everyone all right?
Yeah, and you walk up and you find a little bit of red hair, and she's more just like ferrying water back and forth. where there's like a bucket brigade to get rid of the last of the fires. And she goes, well, is that in a bit of a hard-to-reach spot over there? Let me just get something for that. And you can tell she sort of like presses it in even more. And in your mind, you're hearing, I mean, it didn't have anything to do with us, if that's what you're implying, but we're just trying to lay low a little bit.
No, it wasn't implying that at all. Wasn't sure if anyone, if Arik targeted you or anything. So that's
No.
good.
As far as I know, he doesn't think anything about me other than that I'm Captain Reginald's wife.
Fantastic. No news. Good news.
Are you all right, Cash? You look terrible.
So I'm gonna say like, that feels much better. Logain is not the only channeler here.
Right, there's that odd fellow who's with him.
He's gone. He exploded in a fireball. He tried to kill us.
My God. Are your friends all right? They'd probably not as well equipped to handle something like that as you are, I'd imagine.
You'd be surprised what they can handle, and
Really?
we're all right. Yes.
That's another time I'd be fascinated and really try and dig more on that specifically, but I mean, I'm just glad you're all right, Cash. I can't imagine that must have been easy. There's nothing really in the tower to train you for something like that outside of experiencing it yourself.
Well, let's consider this my first experience, and I'm happy to hear that nothing happened on your end of things.
No, everything's been quite calm. I think Zara's out with her warder because he had to be involved in the fight too, of course, you know. This silly man having to always have a hand in something even when it's not necessary. Talking about the warders. And she's, you know, running through it. She says, Amelie, I think, is over, and you see Amelie's over sort of like refreshing some bandages. She goes, and quite frankly, I don't think Tamea even stopped reading, so...
Sounds like Tamea.
Right. Good. You seem, if you don't mind me saying, you seem quite a bit more powerful than you were when you left, but I feel like it's been a hard road getting there, Cash. Is everything all right?
It's been a hard road. Hopefully we'll have more time to talk about it, but I'm happy I'm where I am now.
I'm happier where you are, too. I just wish you'd be less implicated directly in rogue fireballs.
It's all probably my fault for taking on a mission that was far beyond what I was prepared to do, but I was also prepared to do anything required.
Well, look at what you're doing right now, Cash. Do you remember how this started? I mean, I couldn't even get a clear word out of your mind. You could just sort of sense something about mine when we first started talking, and now we've been having a full conversation for minutes. This is incredible. And on the outside, you guys are going, yes, more bandages. Of course. Water for the weary. And just like sort of like letting
robotic
the
GPS.
letting just like the id speak for you while you have a conversation on a deeper level inside. Like, you're the exact right person for this job.
I thought so. And at the time I started doubting myself, but it's nice to hear that from you.
Of course.
Thank you for everything. You're the one who really... This is all thanks to you. Thank you for taking a chance on me.
Well, I feel a little bit personally mortified because all thanks to me also now includes you getting fried up a little bit, but I'll take the good with the bad.
It looks worse than it is.
I'm sure it does. Wait, are you talking about the ointment on your back? Because that looks pretty bad.
Yeah, this was also...
Is that really what your sort of smokescreen was? Because you have absolutely no talent for herbs.
Don't say that any louder. Well,
I'm not saying it out loud. You're saying it in. I'm saying it in my head. And out loud, she's going, "You're quite talented with herbs."
I'm just gonna like.
And you just see like when you guys are having your like out loud conversation, most people are too shell shocked to like notice anything of it. But you see Amelie look over towards you guys and just go. Just roll her eyes and look away. But yeah, you're able to speak with her for a little bit.
Perfect. That would.
Pretty sure Paige took more fire damage from that fire paste than from the fireball itself. Outside of the goddamn
I think the only damage that you took was lightning, but we're not gonna.
I think it was like one fire shield moment where I was like, ooh, okay.
it was the walking. It was the fire walking.
That's
yeah.
exactly it. Yeah.
But I think we're gonna convene you guys as you sort of like meet back up with Dirk, who has just gone to speak as Lior suggested, has gone to speak with Logain.
How did it go in there?
It went all right. He seems to be back to his normal self, or somewhat. I don't know. He's strung out. And Reg just came to talk to me out of nowhere. That was freaky. Are we?
What was it freaky?
What? Isn't he the warder? The warder. He's the warder. Yes. Yeah. It's freaky.
No, but you're so natural with everyone here. There would be no reason.
Are we leaving? Are we ready to go?
Tonight?
I think it's best if, we get out of here as soon as possible.
Is Logain aware of this?
Yeah, I told him that we'd be leaving. He said it's no problem.
I would like to see them to Garen's Wall.
Garen's Wall.
Garen's Wall. Yeah. I would like to see the group to Garen's Wall. I would like to.
That might take a while.
It's a couple days walk through the Dallin forest to get to Garen's Wall.
I want to make sure they're out of Gildane. I want to be able to report back that they're gone.
Well, I was gonna go with them, and Sammy's gonna go with them. So we could report that they're gone.
I'll look around to see if anyone's watching us. Is there? We're listening in?
Give me a perception check.
Come on, baby. Oh. 14.
To your knowledge, you don't see anyone really listening in.
Do I notice that? Are there any clear places where people could be hidden? Am I sure that there's no one here? Because if there's no one here, I'm going to subtly... If there are like tents and burning flaps and trees, I would subtly channel a detect thoughts. Just to have the
echo of
ears
thoughts.
A little bit further out.
Perimeter 30 feet.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you can make me a perception check too. There's still a bit of a cleanup operation going on. The camp's gone a little bit quieter and more hushed after like your initial boisterous this was a normal thing for leadership to do. And don't worry guys, you're gonna be in the record books. Things are calming down a little bit, but there's still a cleanup effort going on. It's not like active fire, so you can make a perception check if you want to see.
Okay, perfect. So I will cast that and...
Yeah, well, give me a perception check first to make sure.
Yeah. It's an 11.
Okay. You feel reasonably certain that no one's really paying too much attention to you. You have enough hustle and bustle about you right now that you could probably subtly channel that.
Okay, perfect. I will do that and just keep a bit of an ear out during this discussion because I realize we're talking about sensitive information.
Sure.
Dirk, what do you... If you're going to the wall, then we're coming with you.
Well, no, because Logain's gonna... He said he'd help me learn how to channel. Right? Paige can't teach me forever. He's gonna help me. And I can't learn when I'm with you guys, because if I make mistakes, well, then you guys might get hurt. But I'll go train with Logain, and then I don't know, maybe later we could find each other again or something, but...
Dirk,
This is why I came here.
but John trained with him, and look what good it did him.
it doesn't sound like John lasted very long after his... The only way I can think to phrase it is his insanity from the mail channeling showed. And now that Dirk's insanity has shown, I don't know how much longer Dirk will be Dirk.
Yeah.
Dirk, I understand that. I agree with Tal. We should see them to Garen's Wall, but it doesn't need to be this way. You can come back to the steading with me. I'm sure my elders would be happy to offer you the same sanctuary that my forefathers offered your predecessors. You've earned it.
Yeah, stay in the steading. I mean, maybe that it could be. It's just staying in one place for forever is not really my style, and I'm gonna be honest, if my brother's still looking for me, if I stay in one place, he's gonna find me.
Well,
Not in a steading.
let him come.
See, this is why I like you, Leor.
You have to get through me to get to you. But it won't come to that. You could meet my parents, and you could meet my girlfriend Adeline, my fiancée.
I'm sorry, who?
You do hear one thought within 30 feet, a high-pitched kid's voice going, "A fiance."
Dad has been listening.
You don't see where he is.
Tad wants to die.
He is within 30 feet, but you don't know where.
You don't know where.
I betrayed my son.
I was gonna say it might... It's like Tal will kind of start scuffing her toes in the earth. I was gonna say it might be a good idea for you to go with the dragon, but going to the steading sounds like a much better idea. It doesn't have to be forever, just until we're certain he's not a false dragon.
Or until he does what he says he will do.
Once he's completed all the prophecy, you can go find him again.
Leora, give me a history check. Oh, exhaustion.
Yeah.
It's really
It's
messing
10.
with them.
It's 10.
Yeah.
It's a pretty low DC because this is sort of the history of your people, and it's been on your mind because you researched it before you went to the Waygate. When you suggest staying in the steading as they did before, you also know that men staying in the steading might have prolonged the breaking because when they got out, they were just as mad as when they went in. And when Dirk looked at you and said, "Staying in one place for too long, that's... I can't stay in one place forever," you know that that's basically the sentiment that every man had when he did eventually leave the steading and long for Sidon's sickening embrace once more.
I think Leor knows this. But Leor's not going to share that with Dirk.
Sure.
He realizes that it's akin to... It's like, in an ironic twist, it is the other side of the coin to the Ogier's longing to go back to the steadings.
Yeah.
But, he has to hold on to something, so he's going to hold on to hope.
Okay. Sure.
During this entire conversation, Paige has been locked eyes with Dirk the entire time.
Dirk is like looking shifty. Dirk is not comfortable. As soon as you guys said like let's stay with the dragon, like immediately not okay with that.
Just until the wall. I need to know he's gone.
I'm putting my foot down.
Give me an insight check.
I'm gonna re-roll that. Can I do that?
Please re-roll that for me.
Can I do an insight?
Yes, you can. Please. The sphere of truth glows within your backpack.
Do you have a...
Natural one! I'm using my inspiration.
You do?
14.
14, okay.
I have one inspiration.
Burn all your resources.
24.
24, great. You sense that, like, there is a way out being offered for Dirk, and what you're getting is that he doesn't really want it. in this moment,
Yeah.
what's being offered to him. With a 24, you could see that, and correct me if I'm wrong, you could see that Dirk is not worried about himself. And all these attempts to get you guys to stay with him as you go to Garen's Wall together, or to all travel south again. That's a long journey to get back to Liorsteading, and even staying there. He's worried about you all, and not himself. That's the concern that's on Dirk right now.
Because if we haven't routed out all of the traitors here, and if there are other people, it might, if something happens, we might not be safe here.
Whoa, what other people?
Damn it.
You don't hear that.
Okay, who is it?
Page's head.
Yeah.
Don't know what to do with this.
So many nefarious plots.
Your son, Lior. You've taught him well.
You're gonna need us. If that's the case, if more traitors turn up, you'll need us. And I'd like to make sure for Sammy's sake that there's no more traitors. Inner circle, he's got a target on his back.
I
Recently
didn't even think of
trimmed.
Sammy.
That's okay.
He can leave with you too.
He won't. He's made that clear. Part of the reason I gave him my blessing, so to speak, is I had an option. I could leave on the outs with my brother, or I could leave not on the outs with my brother, but I don't think my brother's leaving. If I thought for a second I could convince him, I would.
Do you trust me?
Yes,
Of course.
implicitly.
I trust you. I don't trust the insanity that's revealed itself.
Then, without playing the truth game, please trust that you can't stay here.
I don't know when the words come out of your mouth what is you and what is the voice inside your head.
And that'll stop Dirk for a second, and he'll probably just tear up a little bit, and he'll say I told the dragon that there are sisters here. If we're traveling with him, he needs to know. And he's going to keep his word. But I need to make sure that you three are safe. And I don't know what he's going to do. But you can't be here when this happens.
Why did you do that?
Because he's gonna help me. And I can't have them stop him.
You can't see why he would do that?
For the first time, Paige will drop her gaze.
I'm sorry, Paige.
I understand.
But you'll be safe. That's for sure.
It's only a couple days till Garen's Wall.
That's too many. Tal. Please.
Lior, Paige? It's only a couple days.
I'm not going to turn back now, Dirk. You have changed in many ways. Many for which it has been a pleasure to see. And so I will see them as long as I can. So I will go to the edge of Gildan. I can go no further. And I will not stop trying to convince you. But I will see this through. For whatever danger it puts me in.
Paige, I won't stop you from doing whatever you need to do. But I hope you understand why I want you to do nothing.
Paige, it's worth noting that during this exchange, when he mentioned there are sisters in the camp, you don't hear any words, and you can't tie it to a voice that you would recognize, but you just hear like an exasperated sigh in your detect thoughts. And you can't trace it, and you don't really see anyone leave the radius.
How about Tad? What's Tad's reaction?
I didn't quite hear that part. If only these people could speak up louder. Maybe they could fix it in post so that it's at a clear audio level.
Paige, without looking up, will communicate straight to Dirk and say, Dirk, I beg of you to listen to me. The tower's intention is to close in at some point, and I don't want you to be caught in the crossfire.
I can respond to this?
Yeah.
I'm already in the crosshairs, just for being me. I need to learn how to defend myself.
Again, this is not the place to learn. There will be a moment where you will have to leave, or you will not make it out the same.
I understand.
About this point, you hear, excuse me? Young man? And you look, and like sort of peeking around and giving you guys space, but peeking around the corner is Brenta looking at you, Tal, with several other women with her. One of them, a very elderly woman, who you immediately tie with a youngish, like, maybe a boy of about like 15 or 16, sort of supporting her as she walks with a cane, and you immediately are tied back to Brent going, sure, there's others, Ma Dobbins, Kyler, and so you're seeing some of the people of Moorburn who were taken walking up behind Brenta, and she goes, I've gathered everyone that I can think of who would want to leave. Does soon feel like a good time for you? Or...
We'll have to coordinate. We need to make sure we don't leave anyone behind.
Of course.
It'll take maximum a couple of days. But maybe less than that? I wish I sounded more confident.
Less would be nice, but I'll sort of take your lead on this one.
Okay. And we'll make sure that you get all the way back.
Okay, good.
Brent will be so happy to see you. And you too, Ma Hobbins.
She looks and goes, who's that speaking to me? Who's that?
It's a new face, but Brent says hi.
Who's that? It's Brenta.
A new face.
A new face.
Hi.
Oh, Brenta, you gone and gotten yourself a new face?
Yes.
Wow.
I'll look at the young man and be like, are you Kyler?
Yeah, I'm Kyler.
Brent says hi.
Okay. Who's Brent? And just he like sort of, okay, come on, Ma Dobbins, let's take you to go to bed. Crazy world we're living in these days. My God, tell you what. Walks off into the night.
Morbin has been shook. Mad.
In my day, we got kidnapped twice a week.
No one understands the good resolve of being kidnapped and making it back. But it is a night of unrest, and Dirk, I think in spite of your own desire that everyone leaves that night, I think you can pretty clearly tell no one is going to be doing that.
Going anywhere.
Even if you wanted to.
Yeah,
you couldn't.
Yeah, I couldn't.
And I think as you guys help out as you can and make sure all the fires are doused, And an exhausted Sammy goes, I think if you don't mind, I might move my tent tonight, if that's okay.
Why are you asking me?
I don't want to invade on your space or anything, but I'd like to be close to home for one night.
Yeah, absolutely.
And he just goes off and packs up his small tent and brings it over next to where you guys are staying. In
the prison not prison tent.
In the prison not prison tent, yes. And you go off to sleep for a night. And now you guys can reset your hit points.
Cool. Do you, Paige, Cash, inform us that there
What?
the person who was listening to our conversation?
No, I don't tell them that. I'm gonna go immediately. The over the night, I'm not gonna act in that very night. But the next morning, I would intentionally. I don't want to cause a huge conversation with them because I don't want to be questioned. So I'm gonna, as soon as I see them, I'm gonna establish a telepathic link. Either Lucille or Amelie. Amalie.
Amelie. Yeah.
Amelie. And I will say something to the effect of,
You have to take the survivors.
rumors are that sisters are in the camp. We may be in danger. Stay vigilant.
I think notably in the morning you don't see them.
Even worse.
It's like that's worse than
Does she see Reg?
Give me a perception check.
If I don't see them, I'm looking for Reg. Yeah.
Give me a perception check for
Or
Ray.
any of the other warders?
No. Shoot. 11.
No.
I'm going to go back to the tent, and I'm going to use my psionic sorcery to quietly send a message, a sending,
Yep.
to Lucille, and say, yeah, exactly what I said. There are rumors circulating that sisters are among us. Stay vigilant.
Yeah.
We may be in danger.
And she says, "We've been gone for hours. You'd be wise to do the same. Amelie says that she's been in contact with Adelaide. Why are they so similar, you guys? So crazy, so insane. Amelie says she's been in regular contact with Adelaide. Get out while you can."
It's going to send me for a loop. Regular contact? I thought I was special. All right. I'm not going to respond to the message.
Yeah. Before you guys really do wake up, early in the morning before the camp has stirred, you hear a, "May I?"
Do we recognize the voice?
Yeah, I didn't do a good accent, but it's Logain.
Yeah, I feel
Yeah.
No. Yes, of course. Come in.
I'll still be in my bedroll. Like, is
Yeah.
it cold?
He'll, no,
No?
this is still miraculously, despite all of the things that have been going on, the warmer environment in the camp has still persisted at this point.
So Tal is fully half in, half out of the bedroll.
Yeah. He was, "Walk with me to my tent if you don't mind."
Everyone.
Yes,
Start.
I'd like to confer about how best to address the people before.
Hopping from one foot to the other as I pull on my boots.
Yeah.
If like Logain exits the tent first, I just look back and I go like, last chance.
No.
Okay, I'll follow.
You guys walk to the ruined tent, the little like 4-poster section that is still set up with a couple of like singed curtains. It's early enough in the morning that really not many people are up and about. There's a couple of like nervous looking guards that just nod to you guys as you follow Logain. And he turns around and says, "I plan to address everyone, first light, and set out an open call for all those who don't wish to be here, whether initially or even just now, to leave, and for those who wish to stay, that we have quite a journey ahead. I would hope that the three of you might consider accompanying some of these vulnerable people on their way south. It's a tough march.
Is that what you ask of us?
It would be my ideal scenario, yes.
Is there anywhere in your ideal scenario where we accompany you to Garen's Wall before taking these people?
I'm afraid not. You see, consider it somewhat of a professional courtesy. I'm looking to you, Paige. I feel that I might have understood wrong when I asked you certain questions. Perhaps you are not Aes Sedai, but, well, you've helped me a few times, and my thanks in return is requesting that you assist the less fortunate south rather than stay with me.
I will go.
Thank you. Now, I know of 4. Any others?
Yeah, a whole bunch. Did you see Ma Hob? Hobbins? Hobby? Dobbins?
I think
that
we might be
telepathically.
thinking about different things.
And Kyler? No, aren't you talking about the people who want to leave?
No, I'm speaking about your sisters. And just the 2.
The 2?
Captain Reginald is quite a loss. The other one, I didn't know much about, but...
Nor do I.
a shame.
Indeed.
Well, I should hope that eventually more might come to an understanding as we have. That there might be able to be a tenuous working relationship, but I'm afraid that for now I'm just a little uncomfortable at the idea. Everyone give me an insight check.
It's the big guns. I'd even
13.
Gun's too big.
27.
10.
11.
This is abuse.
You can read more than doubling everybody else's. You can read a little bit of like paranoia on the dragon's face. He's guarding it very well as he's talking to Paige, and it's very clearly, rationally laying out, "Thank you for helping me. I cannot trust you." You just see that his offhand is like white knuckle fist, and you just see like speaking to Paige and trying to be this restrained is a very much an effort for Logain right now.
I understand. And if it's worth anything, meeting you has changed what I believed the dragon's intentions were. For the better.
I do hope that there comes a point when my head and my heart can agree on how to receive that information. I can only hope that that day might come.
Paige will walk out of the tent.
Sure, he'll let you go.
Can I ask a follow-up question?
Certainly.
No, Michelle, to the DM.
This is how I talk now.
The paranoia that Tal sees, does it seem like, like a reasonable amount of stress given that, the White Tower is kind of like thinks he's the false dragon and all that, or does it seem like beyond?
It seems pretty reasonable to you, knowing what happens with all those who declare themselves the false dragon or declare themselves the dragon. Cool. Everyone who declares themselves is hunted down by the Reds and stilled.
Yeah,
And
Jen
so
told.
yes, and finding out that not only was someone that he like didn't trust and then let himself trust and then was proven immediately wrong again, and it's only because you've actively saved his life a couple times. Finding out that he didn't trust the judgment right, but also had blinders to the fact that there were 4 sisters in the camp. That's a lot. You don't have a firm grasp of all channeling stuff, but that's a lot.
Okay.
It seems pretty reasonable.
Cool. Maybe just come with us to drop off the people? And then you can rejoin wherever, like, they wind up.
I can bring you maybe a little bit of the ways to like the edge of the camp.
That's not a ways. Come on. Like Morburn.
I'd really like to.
See Brenta home.
If they knew what I could do, they wouldn't want me with them. And arguably, I don't want to put them in that danger.
I know what you can do, and I want you with me. For a little while. And then you can come back, and the dragon will keep you safe.
I think Dirk's got the right of it.
Yeah.
If it's the safety of the collective whole that we're looking at, I think it might be best for Dirk to go his own way.
Yeah, we were talking about it, and I think it's for the best. That just for a little bit, right? That's what we were talking about. Plus, I got Sammy with me, right? Like, he'll keep me safe, I'll keep him safe.
I mean, it is what you have been talking about, not what we have been talking about. If there are some of these soldiers that wish to stay with these people, I intend to hold my promise. I will see you off, and then I will come back and I will see them back to Morburn on my way home.
Michelle confirmation. Did you just say you're taking them to the wall?
If there are soldiers to guard them and keep them safe here, I will go off and I will come back and bring them along my way.
Give me a persuasion check, Lior.
Sure. Don't have disadvantage.
Oh.
But I do have a -1.
I think it would be really cool if you... I'm trying to give advantage.
What?
He rolled before I could finish speaking. I'm trying to back him up to give him advantage.
It's 3.
It's 3. Yes.
Trying to back him up to give him advantage.
No, just the hardest no.
You rolled too quick.
I appreciate the sentiment, friend Ogier. But I'm afraid my welcome mat has grown a little weary. And I don't wish to allow myself to let it grow worse. I hope that you trust that I will do everything in my power to keep your friend Dirk safe, as he will keep me.
I will not hold it against you, but I think he will keep you much safer than you could keep him.
Selfishly, I certainly hope so.
If I might try.
I'm all ears.
I've known you for a few days now,
Yes.
and I think you know that I was skeptical at best coming in.
At best. Yes.
I don't know anything about dragons or real dragons or false dragons. I do know that you seem to be a good leader of people. I also know that it has been indirectly in your name that villages and places were attacked. As we respectfully stayed at your request, I would like to respectfully see you to the border of my country.
Why don't you give me a persuasion check?
That's what I was gonna do.
No.
Oh
No.
man, are we gonna say goodbye to Ogier and Paige, but you're gonna stay with me? Wow.
I mean, like, I feel like it's a
No, it's
it's a
hilarious.
package deal. It's a all right. What persuasion?
Persuasion.
I got really excited. All right, hang on. I'm using my Brad.
It was a
rolling
long
technique.
distance shot too. I was like, that's daring.
Natural one.
Oh no!
I should have picked up the purple. All right. Can someone get my purple? I don't know. Where, we'll get it later. Yeah.
After I cry, yeah.
No.
I appreciate that you wish to uphold the family legacy and safeguard your country. The attacks on villages that were made in my name, I think I am partially responsible for. Only due to my hesitance to continue along this difficult road. My complacency is what has caused this. The faster that I get my people moving, and that we make progress towards our goals, the less that will be an issue. I'm sorry, my mind is made up in this matter.
It was worth a try.
Can't fault you for trying.
Can I at least see them out? We're not leaving right away.
Well, I intend to speak to the people in... Well, the sun rises soon. We'll gather everyone to here. And as soon as we've mobilized and set up those who are traveling south with provisions, then... Well, then we shall be on our way. But yes, Dirk, certainly. I would be a monster to not allow you to say goodbye to your friends.
Yeah, it's not forever either, right? It's just for
No.
a little bit.
Just for a little while.
Just a little bit.
Yes, baby.
What you want? Baby, I got it.
I would spend my morning checking in with Brenta's group, but also trying to visit as many people as possible and trying to really impress upon them. This is not a trick. This is not the dragon trying to weed people out. We really are taking you home. So if this is something you want to do,
Yes.
you can trust us. Come with us. We will make sure we will see you safe.
There's a fair amount of skepticism. Some people are like hopeful. Some people are like, we're actually good here. Some people,
Use my insight.
yeah. Some people are like, sort of some of the response that you get is like, we'll believe it when we hear it from him. There's been so much. We don't know who speaks for the dragon right now. Really, one of his lead generals just got ousted as a traitor. We'll believe it when we hear it from him, but there's, at least it is beginning the conversation within the ranks of the camp.
And then at some point, I'll stop taking up the mic after that, but at some point I'd find like a quiet corner and I would take out my sphere of truth.
Yes.
And I will kind of cradle it in my crossed legs. Mm-hmm. And I'll close my eyes and I'll say, within the next 7 days, will the dragon and his people leave Gildane? I'll shake it.
Within the next 7 days.
Because I think it's supposed to be an event that happens within the next 7 days.
It's 30 minutes.
Oh!
Augury?
Never mind.
Like, I mean, that's a pretty big stretch.
Yeah, no, what's 7 days? There's one that's 7 days.
It's something that's got to be higher than a second level
Yeah,
spell.
it's like a.
It's like an event that happens in a...
Foretelling?
Maybe.
I don't know if that's even a
I've never
thing.
used
I
foretelling.
think it's how long you have until the girl in the ring kills
In
you.
the next 30 minutes.
Yeah, it's
No,
like
there's one.
30.
It's like
Never
it's like
mind, not
Yes.
gonna burn that.
Yes. You...
30 minutes, bullshit. I could.
It just goes.
Can I kill the dragon?
It just pops. It just pops up. Beats me, man. A lot could happen in 7 days. But I think that you probably do like spend some time trying to like get a solid answer, and nothing ever pops up. Nothing serious ever pops up, and that's probably a point of frustration. Anybody else before?
No, your mom is not looking to kill your dad. The third monkey on the left is the one you want.
Yeah.
These are weird ass answers.
Just strange answers that have nothing to do with anything.
Yeah.
Anybody else? Anything before the troops are gathered?
I would have my bag ready and packed by the time they walk out. I'd be probably just sitting on it with the coat I found in the closet.
It looks really good. It didn't get burned.
I'm so happy I found this coat, but
'Cause
I'm
you
not
grabbed it on the way
happy in general. I'm holding it, and Paige is looking down at the ground, ready to leave.
Okay.
Lior would spend the time in the tent with a piece of parchment and will write a letter.
Okay.
One that is probably long overdue. And he's going to pour over it, and once he feels like it's as good as it's going to get, he's going to seal it up, and he's going to go find Paige. And Paige,
Yes, Leo.
once upon a time, in a tavern far away from here, we left as you were writing a letter, and I didn't know what it meant at the time. I now have a letter. And though the dragon's mind might be made up, so is mine. Would you make sure that this gets brought to Shanglu?
It would be my honor.
And for our collective benefit, would you care to read what's in the letter?
You actually wrote a letter?
Yeah. Did I write it? So immediately take inspiration, but
And depending upon the contents, you might take another one.
My dearest Adeline, you always seem to know just what to say to ease my mind. A skill that I admire and now desperately wish I could replicate. But matters at hand care not for my wishes, and so I will speak plainly. Gildan's future currently rests upon the edge of a knife, or rather a sword. Its people are as hardy and stubborn as the lands they till, but the dragon's might is as daunting as a mountain, and the dark one stirs in its shadow. Though it puts me in harm's way, I feel I must do my part to shed some light into this darkness. When I first left the steading, chasing the promise of adventure and the possibility of helping the people of Gildan, in my haste, I did not stop to think of what I could lose, only what I could gain. My morning sunshine. The winter has been long and cruel. You are the light and warmth that I will always search for. And if I have this trepidatious feeling in regards to you meeting my mother and what that means for me upon my return, I take comfort knowing that soon you will be safe among my family. A family that I hope you will one day call your own. While this journey has been full of twists and turns, I am lucky to have been gifted a map that was made meticulously and with love. Though, while I may have errant ways and a course that is occasionally in need of correcting, never doubt that my path will always lead me home to you. Forever yours, Leo.
And those words remain unsaid as you hand that letter off, sealed to Paige. It's very nice.
You'll see Paige take the letter, and she has a couple traveling books, and open one of the traveling books and put it inside, and then wrap wrap clothing around that and put it right at the center. And you will see that she takes great care into making sure that this part is protected from the weather, at the very least.
Thank you, Paige.
It's my pleasure.
Be safe as well.
You too. Praise to the builders.
I'll just nod solemnly and go for a hug, leaning down and just engulf.
Violence.
Big,
Garfing.
big,
That's
powerful.
what it feels like to be hugged by Leor, everybody.
That's what it feels like to be
I
hugged by
imagine
someone with the
Talak-
crusher feet.
I imagine Tala kind of like hops over at this point, like, okay, hey guys,
Are you ready?
as I'll ever be.
Right. Well, shall we?
If I could have everyone's attention, and you could see that sort of some of the soldiers that have remained have sort of gathered people in. You see there's a lot of reassuring happening. Lena and Sammy doing especially a lot of the footwork of being like, he's just gathering people to talk to them. He just needs everyone. Last night was a certain night. We just need to talk. And an uncomfortable crowd of people gather in front and all stand by sort of this like scorched out circle of dirt where around it it's grass, where the main tent used to be, with Logain standing at its head. And everyone gathers in, and he looks to each of you individually and nods. And he says, I have learned a great deal in the last few days. I've learned that there are some of you who don't wish to be here. And you see some guards, some soldiers start protesting. They're like, no, Lord Dragon, we're with you. He's like, no. Some of you were brought here against your will. And people are sort of like looking sheepishly like they don't want to make eye contact. And he's looking around and he says, I regret that more than you can know. My path forward is a dangerous one, more dangerous than even the last few days have been. And I don't wish to have anyone else who doesn't want to put themselves in harm's way caught in a crossfire. And although the road south is a hard one and a treacherous travel in this winter, I extend the offer to any who wish to take it. If you wish to leave, you have my blessing, even though you should never have needed it. I have no desire for the disadvantaged people of this world to be bent to my will in the midst of all this political upheaval. No, that is not what this is meant to be. Some of the brave recent arrivals, and he points to the three of you, have graciously agreed to shepherd you back south as you head back towards at least the capital, where things are more safe and where the weather is kinder. If you never wish to be here, or if you even have changed your opinion, you see a couple of soldiers look down a little sheepishly. Please do take this chance, because it will get more dangerous where I am going. Sort of shakes his head. Says, now there are others who do wish to be here, but for poor reasons. You see, there are those, I'm sure, who would wish to finish Arik's work, and worse. It seems that the Lord of Shadows has sent some friends of the dark to live among us in an attempt to bind me to him. And there's people looking around at each other nervously. There's a bit of an audible gasp from the crowd as he says this. I speak now directly to those of you, making hard eye contact. I encourage you to consider whether or not the pitiful reward you've been offered is something that you're likely to live to receive. You've seen what you're up against. It's better to have a lifetime of cowering than a brief ending. And to those who stay with me still, I thank you for your loyalty. These have not been, as I understand, easy months of waiting when great change and action have been promised. We've waited too long in this North Country. In seeking to grow our ranks, we have instead let a poison fester and divide them. Now, I won't lie to you. It will be more difficult before it becomes glorious. But what a glory it would be to strike the shadow out of the land. Many fear the reshaping that this world will need to experience out of cowardice, out of comfort, or out of a darker desire. I must continue to show my strength if we have any hope. I must prove that I am he who was prophesied. That I am the dragon reborn. And throughout this, he's really built himself up. I will take these lands from the Dark One himself and deliver them into a new age of light and of possibility. To all those that wish to bask in the dragon's might, I say, welcome and be ready. It's quite a road ahead. And at that, a fairly large amount of the soldiers that are left raise up the dragon's might! Some women are also applauding some of the families that are there. You see Tad go, yeah! And then his mom just takes his arm and goes down. And you hear her go, do you maybe want to hang out with your friend for a little while? And a lot of people have been rejoicing. And then when it's done, he goes, there's a bit more of a awkward people looking around and trying to figure out who's staying and who's going. And those who are leaving are looking down and not meeting the eyes of those who are staying. And he goes, to both parties, we leave in an hour. And just walks back inside his tent.
Lior will go after him.
Go after the dragon? Certainly. He hears the heavy footfalls and he goes, come to plead your case once more, friend Ogier.
If you think I'm going to plead, then you are very wrong. Know that I come not for you, but for Dirk. And while the dragon's might is a force to be reckoned with, so is the patience and perseverance of an Ogier. So unless you wish me harm, and I'll drop the greatsword at his feet, I am coming.
A shame. I could barely lift the thing. As much as the patience and perseverance of the Ogier are marveled, I do sometimes recall human books thinking of it as stubbornness. I can't imagine that I would like what would happen if I tried to stop you.
No, I don't think you would.
I'm well aware of where your allegiances lie, Builder. You are welcome at any campfire that I shall be at, as long as you wish. See that it is short.
It shall be.
Understood. And he just goes back about to packing up his things, of which there are a few.
Lior will head back out.
you see that Lena and Sammy have sort of come over to confer with the two of you and say, well, we could spare... We lost a lot of riders yesterday, so we can spare a few horses, a cart for some supplies, what food we can manage, hopefully enough to get you south through the plains. It'll be difficult travel, I think. It's been snowing outside for the last few days.
Do we know how many soldiers are returning?
Not many. A couple dozen. Enough to guard the line.
Right, that's my question, I guess, yeah. I didn't expect there to be many after that speech.
It was a pretty good speech. Like, I mean, I was kind of shocked too that I fell so in with it, but I mean, every time I hear the guy talk, it's like...
The charisma on that guy.
22.
Some might say it's even higher. Just make sure maybe that you're at the head of the line. If you run into any of the Legion, you'll want to have a good voice talking for the group.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Let me just gather up Lior and Paige and figure out where we're at.
Sure.
I would have spent probably the morning also just trying to help load up any cart. Like, I'd probably, like, just be awkwardly following Tal around. And, like, if you're following Paige, and just be like, can I help lift that up? Here, let me help you with that. And just, like, be awkward around you guys for the...
I'll make an effort to, like, work them into the preparations. But I imagine at some point, if we get, like, just a moment alone, Tal would be like... You know, I never asked for another sibling. But as far as big brothers go, you did a pretty good job.
Well, thanks. And I felt the same, though, to be honest, it felt weird calling you a sister.
I'm your brother.
Yeah, right? Okay, we're family. Which is why I appreciate you understanding this. It's not forever.
I think I would have fought a little harder a couple days ago, but I see now.
And these people really need your help getting back home.
Yeah.
If you do this, I mean, who's gonna stop you from joining the army, right?
Felix can try.
I just maybe we can have one before you leave. Lior seems to like them. And I'll just like open my arms for like a hug.
Oh my god.
I launch.
Yeah.
Like, step of the wind, jump, spring in my step.
Yeah. And I'll give
Like
you
my
a-
feet aren't touching the floor.
Yeah, I'll like lift you up. Oh, this is actually pretty nice.
This is so good. If you let go, no, not yet.
Yeah.
And I think at a certain point, you almost expect to feel like the eventual softening of like, oh, it's been a long time, but that doesn't really come. This is something that you've maybe taken for granted in your crazy family and all the people telling each other what to do. You've always had affection for each other, and maybe Dirk has finally gotten a glimpse of that for a short while. Yeah.
And I'll just after that like give it and just like give you a noogie and be like, I'm gonna miss you.
That's how you do it.
Yeah. Okay.
Like, flatten my
Yeah,
hair.
when the noogie happens, Sammy goes. That's sibling energy.
And then I imagine I'd go find Lior.
Sorry about that. All packed up?
Yeah? Are we all ready to go?
I'm sorry, Tal. Yeah, you're going to have to be the one to do it again.
What do you mean?
Don't leave Paige.
If you didn't already have inspiration.
So good.
What do you mean don't leave Paige? Neither one of us are leaving Paige.
I can't keep her safe. I'm going to be keeping an eye on Dirk as long as I can.
I'm sorry, what?
Tal does not think this is fair.
there are certain benefits to being an Ogier. We're so charming.
Okay, first of all, you are not. At all.
I could be.
Second of all, are you joining the dragon and going to wherever he's going?
No, I am not there for the dragon. I am there for Dirk. I am not giving up just yet. I've not taking no just yet.
I didn't know that was an option. If you're not taking no, I'm not taking no.
Sammy goes, it's an option for some people, maybe.
It's an option for me. If it's an option for him,
It's not an option for you. It's not an option for you. I'm a captain of this army.
Watch me.
I'm watching you right now.
Watch me.
You want to watch me?
If he goes, I go.
No.
Yes.
Absolutely not.
Absolutely yes.
No.
It's a real shame you lost the ability to boss me around after you quit the Legion of the Wall. Sorry, bub.
A voice goes, do you know who does have an ability to boss you around?
No, it's not fair. It's not fair. If he goes, I go.
This isn't a fair world.
If he goes, I go.
Brenta goes, wait, are you not traveling with us?
Absolutely, I'm traveling with you in 2 to 3 days.
The dragon just goes, that's not happening.
Yes.
Good luck trying to convince her otherwise.
I have 12 brothers and sisters. I can take you in a verbal sparring match.
Good thing for me, I don't need to have verbal sparring matches. Dirk. There's a little bit of energy. You just see weaves of wind floating through the air.
Tal,
No.
we need to get them home.
No. We're not splitting up. Not more.
It's okay, little one.
No.
You will keep an eye on Paige and I'll keep an eye on Dirk. I mean, we're the only two that are reasonable, really. We gotta keep them in line.
No one's ever called me reasonable. I'm not reasonable. I need you to be reasonable.
It's all relative.
I can't lose you both.
Hey.
I can't lose you both.
Don't worry. I'll catch up with you all on my way back to Shenglu. Well, I'll catch up to Paige. only if you slow down.
Maybe if you use you're bending your knees and you go further and faster.
I'll teach the dragon.
Is that the duck walk? I've heard much about the duck walk through the snow.
It's incredible.
Wow.
Your thighs burn like hell, but incredible.
You'll have to show me.
Tal, I didn't know Leor was staying, and the only reason he's still staying is because I don't think I could actually force him not to.
You think you can force me not to?
A little bit.
He might have a fighting chance, but you're screwed, bub.
I'm just like, I wish I had the sleep spell.
You've actually got a pretty strong inclination of some like tricks that you've figured out recently that you probably can
Yeah?
force Tal, but you don't ever want to get to that point. So you might just go along with her saying, yeah, sure, the dragon could force you. Yeah.
Oh, man.
Paige is going to stand up.
Yeah, please take this away.
And Paige has not looked well since the conversation. And she slowly puts on her jacket, her new coat, and walks up to...
Oh, that looks good on you.
Thank you. Walks up to Dirk, and is quite a bit shorter than Dirk, but walks up to him and looks up. Be safe. May the roads treat you well.
You too, Paige, and honestly, I hope you find your sisters.
She's gonna put her hand out to shake your hand.
Yeah, like without thinking, like I'll shake your hand.
You're just gonna take it with two hands, and you will hear the voice in your head say, "There will be a time or you will have to choose the dragon or yourself. And I pray that you make the right choice. I pray that you choose the friend I've come to know.
As a response, you'll see a smile on my face, and I'll go, I can't believe I was the one to break our trust. I'm sorry.
And you'll see Paige not able to hold the look and let go of the hand.
During this conversation, at this point, everything sort of has been loaded up. I think, Lior, you were probably like trying to wait till the last minute to drop this.
100%.
And this conversation has been occurring at the end of camp. And just sort of naturally, as things began moving and carts began to move, you guys were sort of following with them.
Are you going beyond Garen's wall?
No.
And then you're coming right back to us?
Yes.
Can you talk to him? Like when he's far... I mean, when he's close enough to hear? Tomorrow?
I can yell.
I feel like that cat's out of the bag.
There's more than just you.
That's a fair point.
Stage whisper.
Where's Tad?
Yeah, he's always around.
Can you?
Maybe.
Promise me. As soon as Garen's wall is done, you come back.
I promise. And should you ever reach out, I will not pull a Dirk and I will respond.
I'll kick him out myself, Tal. I'll make sure he doesn't follow.
I'd like to see you try.
Okay, well, clearly you don't have 12 brothers and sisters.
It's a thing that we all will.
But at that, Sammy turns to you and says,
Did you write that letter for Mama?
Yeah, I did. And he gives you a stack of letters. Some pages more yellowed than others.
I flipped through them. Or any of them have my name? No, they're all for Mama.
No, they're for Mom. Some of them are for Felix. Some of them are for Dad. But mostly for Mom.
I'd be careful with Felix. He's not as forgiving as I am.
No, he's not, but I just need him to understand. I don't need him to forgive. You know?
It's still a tall order. But you got me.
I'm happy I got 1 out of 12.
I mean, the sisters won't care.
They
Nobody
won't?
knows what's up with Oliver.
Yeah, where is Oliver? When I came to the city, we were told that he was in the Legion of the Wall.
I was told the same
I
thing.
just haven't seen the guy.
Like, I didn't ask Felix, but I ran into literally
I
everybody
think I have a
else.
better chance of finding him in Tyr than I do of staying in Gildan.
Oh,
Is that...
let me know if he's there.
Yeah,
I'll ask Felix when I get back. We should check up on him.
Yeah, for sure. It's a little concerning, and also that we just don't talk about it.
So you've got sisters. Toby's too stupid. And you got me. So that's like at least 6.
I'll take 6.
Half is better than none.
And just wraps you up in a hug.
I do. Over the shoulder, feet off the ground.
Yeah.
Leap.
Yeah. And he says, he just like sort of whispers into your ear. He says, thanks for giving me a chance to forgive me.
Yeah.
All right, get out of here. You got people to protect.
And that makes Tal stand up real important.
Prove who's the real leader out of the two of us, huh?
Oh, like that was a question. Hello?
It's real authoritative. Logan's going,
Who needs authority when you got skills, baby?
sure, I guess, yeah, different leadership styles. Lena just looks at you and goes, I have a pack of my finest medicines. They're best applied underneath the fingernails. And
I think you'll need them. Hang on to those for me.
okay, this one's wonderful for the perineum. And Logain's going, I don't think she's buying it.
Dirk is going to need that one. Keep it for him.
Okay, great. Just looks at like
I'm not even paying attention. Yeah.
just looks at like a misdirected revenge and goes, maybe. But Dirk, at a certain point, Dirk and Lior, at a certain point, Sammy and Logain and Lena stop, and you guys walk to the boundary of the camp where that knotted pine is that you can see outside. And you can see outside the snow. And you guys all sort of like stop for a second as the column goes and starts making its way through the wooded path. And you guys stop to have a moment with each other.
It's a change of pace that I think it's going to be weird getting used to. I'm used to traveling with someone with a little bit different stature than you. But maybe I'll channel my inner Tao and give you a run for your money.
Tell him a couple stories.
Yeah, we'll start. You gotta write me down some good questions or something. Like, what's your favorite number? What blanket do you use to sleep with?
20 is my favorite number.
You actually answer these.
Oh, of course. Tal and I have long discussions.
Ask what his plural noun is.
Maybe we'll say one question per day.
20, naturally. Scumbag. Take away your inspiration.
Had one to spare.
Good luck. You'll keep them safe. You guys usually did better in fights than we did, anyway.
No, Paige did not.
I resent that.
I'll keep you safe.
I was really good at seeing danger approach, like those rocks, and
So good with the sling.
why'd you bring that up again?
A voice pipes up and goes,
Whoa, you saw like rocks and stuff coming?
and like sitting on top of like a cart, sort of like strapped down a little bit because he's like itching to try and go off with the army, is Tad, who's now looking over at you going like,
Whoa, that sounds like a crazy story.
Crazy story indeed. Maybe I'll... Are you going my direction? Is Tad coming with me?
yeah, I'm going south. And his mom's like, yeah, we're going south.
You know, when I had to do things I didn't want to do, my closest friend would usually persuade me to do it. And despite my temperament, I would go along with him. And to cheer me up, he would tell me a story. And so, let me tell you a story on the road.
Insight check.
Go ahead, roll it.
Okay.
You don't know any men.
No, is Kashmiri actually telling something true about her life?
That's fair.
19.
You have an inkling she's talking about Lior.
I could have told you that for free. Use the augury spell.
I did not get that.
But he goes,
I was like,
Okay.
who's that boy in your life?
I'd love to hear his story. And you guys sort of just turn off and
Keep my son safe.
walk a few paces. And as you start to tell your story and you guys walk alongside each other, you go to turn and look back and you see nothing. Just a continuation of the forest, having passed the boundary of the camp. And you guys just sit and watch the column leave. And after a while, Logain walks up and stands just alongside you guys in silence. He goes, "It's a simple trick, Dirk. Watch." And just goes, and you can almost see like animating this space around you is just this series of threads all interwoven. He goes, "It doesn't take much at all once it's set up. But a bending of the light, and pulls out one thread, and you could see where this sort of illusion falls apart. And with it, almost more impressively, is this tiny little web of fire that's coursing through the air. And as he pulls it, a light snow begins to fall on you guys. He goes, "We'd best be off."
Yeah. No time to dwell on the past.
And you guys begin to make your way through the Dalian forest. And it's a quiet couple of days. And I don't even know that you really even say much to each other outside of, kind of just banalities and just everyday conversation. But in spite of your best efforts, Dirk, I think you're very glad that one of your friends rebelled against you.
Yeah.
And you're glad to have Lior's company.
I tried.
You're also glad that the one who could tank the most damage is the one who stayed. And the other two are not here.
But I didn't go with Dirk. What are you talking about?
It's over for you once but it is a quiet, calm couple of days. Much the same for you guys. You guys are making your way south, sort of trying to, get a little bit of order into this group. You're a little bit more morose, I think, Paige, outside of entertaining Thaddeus and the other kids, finding that you have this propensity for telling a story too, and you know just how to distort the truth so that it is a fun one.
The Illuminator looked at us with fire in his eyes.
And Tad's mom is going, "Be very careful about the story you are telling." And he set off his fireworks, and everyone had a good time. Tal, you're sort of trying to drill some order into these soldiers who are kind of I guess we're just walking south, so lame.
If you wanted a little more excitement, you could have stayed with the dragon.
Oh no, we're good. I think I've had enough excitement.
Yeah,
for sure.
Or you can take protecting these civilians seriously.
No, I take it seriously. So
Yeah?
for sure.
You think? Yeah.
Well,
Then maybe stand with a straight spine soldier.
Yes, sir. And you're whipping these guys.
And I turn around and march away with the biggest smile.
Yeah. You just walk away with a huge smile, and most people aren't looking, but Ma Dobbins goes.
I wink at her.
Gives you a withered thumbs up. But you guys continue to head south at a leisurely pace. You're not going to be. It's quite literally tough sledding. You don't have wheels on these carts. They've been fitted with some paddles so that they could glide over, and it's enough food to keep everyone sparsely nutritioned. sparsely fed, but properly.
I can always supplement that with the bits and bobs of rabbit here, grouse there that I find in the woods.
Yeah, I mean, you continue to prove yourself to be a pretty adept hunter. Logain panicked and tried to come up with a cover story about Arctic foxes, but that kind of a thing is available up here. It's hard to spot them, but you have a pretty keen eye. And you're able to sort of make sure that, if you're sitting down to make a stew, there's more than just a broth,
Couple pheasants.
Some pheasants for some peasants. On your second day of drilling through. What's
It's
that?
just so adorable being Tal started off being I can kind of hunt and not knowing how to travel on the road to now is
Hello.
in charge of an
Here
army.
are my
hunting-
wares.
Yes,
it's so
yes.
cool. It's so cool.
On the second day,
Yeah.
Paige will be walking beside Tal and say, "Her name is Nilor.
Who's that?
That's my sister.
Not a brother.
She's older than me, and she's Much prettier than I am, and very bossy.
No one can be prettier or bossier than you.
You haven't met Nell, but thank you. That's nice. And I will just talk a little bit about
For
my
sure.
time and
And just talk a bit about your life,
actual
not Kashmiri initiate of the White Tower, but Kashmiri Sunuru, Paige Bundelberg, resident of Tanchico, traveler of the world, and collector of stories and conversations. At some point during this conversation, as you are sort of like walking by the food cart, both of you guys give me a perception check real quick.
I'm gonna re-roll that with magical
Totally,
guidance.
100%. Yeah.
I rolled an 8 twice.
Okay, great.
19.
19.
The
You
one that flew away.
you hear a rustling in the supply cart and turn, and you see one of the soldiers with a hood pulled up, trying to reach and grab something extra out of there.
Hail, soldier.
It goes, hello, sir. Doesn't really look at you.
Pull down your hood.
I don't want to. It's cold.
It wasn't a question.
Pulls down his hood and looks back at you sheepishly, and you see one of the ones who decided to leave is Terran, sword guy.
Yeah, that sword guy.
Called it.
Look, what do you want from me? I'm just trying to get out of Dodge.
Thought you died.
Yeah, well, I'm tough.
It's good to see you.
Yeah, great to see you.
I don't care that you're here. I care that you're trying to skim off more than your fair share of the rations.
We're all hungry. Guys gotta eat.
Again, your fair share of the rations. You certainly don't deserve anything more than anyone here. And because I'm taking everyone to the capital, it is by my grace that you don't get less.
That's real nice of you.
Keep your hands to yourself.
It's interesting that only 2 of you are coming down south.
There are other soldiers here.
Oh, no, but it's just the 2 of you. Huh. See, my friend was pretty interested to hear that. Sort of wandered around for a bit outside of the town that you chased me out of.
Who?
He seemed pretty interested mainly in the fellow with the blue eyes, and he paid pretty well.
Send a message to Dirk. Send a letter to Dirk.
But I think he was even more interested to know that
Paige?
the little one with short hair had a brother in the camp?
Paige is going to put her hand on Tala and look down and close her eyes as I start to subtly channel ascending while still listening to Sword Guy.
He was very interested to hear about that. And then off he went.
Soldiers, traitor!
And they turn, and they do turn on him, and he goes. And you see one of the, they're just wordlessly on him, like swords, knives, or whatever, not like coming down upon him, but like at the ready. And you hear one voice, Paige, while you're still listening, that goes like a.
Let me at him. I can take him.
And you see Tad, who's holding like a spear, a spear that's been fashioned quite solidly, like a good spear. Like, why does this kid have a spear?
Say, no, Thaddeus, we don't wish to kill him.
No, but I'm trying to help. Look, they made me this weapon. I might as well use it.
Did you say they made me this weapon?
Yeah.
Who made you this weapon?
It was the pretty lady in the camp. She wore blue a lot.
What do you mean? What are you talking about?
Well, she saw me playing after I was practicing with Leor, and I saw I wanted to become like big and strong, and she just, I don't know, she just like carved this out of a stick and gave it to me. It's pretty cool, huh?
Can I see that for a second?
Sure.
I want to pick up the spear.
Yeah?
Do I sense anything about the spear?
You don't sense anything on the sphere, but perhaps it's a loophole. You assumed that it might be related to, magically or items crafted with the one power, but you've had to study these, and you're pretty sure it's not explicitly mentioned that it's with the power, but there's a rule that no sister may make a weapon with which one man can harm another. That's one of the vows.
While this is happening,
Yeah.
with the soldiers on him,
Yeah.
I would have knocked Sword Guy to his knees and held the dart to his throat.
It's always gonna end up this way, huh?
It didn't have to.
It's a crazy world.
I made you a promise. I'll slit his throat.
And as you do, immediately flash back to the same sick, and back to the same look that Stellan gave you all those weeks back, where he shocked and then just looking at you with a sick smile as he falls face down. Gone.
I don't know who's in more danger,
I don't know what's happening.
us or them.
I'm gonna put my arm on her shoulder and send, not to Dirk, I'm gonna send it to Leo. I'm gonna say, Leo, Dirk's brother is tailing you. Sword guy.
Could have used one word he used to.
Gave him information. Please give us news.
You got 5 left if you want them.
I'll leave it there for now.
Okay. You are traveling through the forest. Still maybe a day or so out. It's a slow journey. Maybe longer than you thought, traveling through this Dalin forest when this message hits you.
And so far, has there been any sign?
No.
Nothing that would.
Nothing that even in hindsight you would go, oh shoot.
Yeah, nothing that we're like, oh, smoke, that's them leaving, or like nothing that could have set us off. Okay.
No.
Did I miss that? Is the brother following me or them?
You would say, sorry,
Said he seemed particularly interested in following the one with blue eyes.
Okay.
He was
Sorry,
also
sorry.
interested to hear that there was a brother of the one with short hair.
Right. Okay. I
The
misheard
implications
that, yeah.
very much.
Yeah. He's on
On
that
you
track.
guys.
Yeah.
How far apart are we?
Well, here's the thing. First of all, I'm going to let Leor answer if
Yeah,
he
sorry.
wants
I
to.
totally
My
cut that
bad, my
off.
bad.
Yeah, sorry.
Okay.
Snow has slowed us down, hoping to make it in
Day and a half.
a day or two. No sign of the scumbag.
Scumbag's one word.
Scumbag.
Bye.
What is the plan?
Well, here's the thing. It was a tough trek, and you're wondering how you're going to be able to make it quickly. But a little element of your training that hasn't come up much occurs to you. Kid, it's all well and good that you're training yourself up to be as fast as possible, and even in wintry conditions with the duck walk, of course, as I've shown you. But not everyone you're traveling with is going to be as fast. Sometimes you need some skill with some sort of land
Vehicle. Yeah, I was gonna say.
and you like emerge from you have this memory flash after you slit his throat.
plan, Bradley.
Yes, I'm so happy. I forgot to give Michelle said, if I take land vehicle proficiency, will it ever come up? And I said yes, and I forgot.
No. He specifically said, why don't you take land vehicle proficiency? Then you can be good with horses.
I have no memory of this, and I feel bad.
That's why, like, episode 0, I was like, do I have a horse?
Nope. But you very much go, and you look and you see these couple of the most powerful horses that you have, a cart with a lot of supplies, but if emptied, would be pretty lightweight.
I will start barking orders at the soldiers to set up camp. Someone take a sheet and draw the biggest symbol of the Legion of the Wall that you can and post it up in the trees. Everyone put up your tents, bunker down for a couple of days in the cold. Are you ready?
Yes, sir.
I need that horse unhitched now. Paige, up.
Up where?
On the horse!
Horse.
And
I will hand Thaddeus back his spear
yes,
and say, keep them safe.
Of course, I'll do what needs to be done.
the crazy bloodlust in his eyes.
I'll just slip
He
some.
has my rage. Yeah.
Holy
Paige is just like, "Eee." Gets on the horse.
I'll
A little bit worried.
I'll help Paige up onto the horse
Yes.
by crawling up on the cart, then getting her on.
Yeah.
I will just like leap straight from the ground onto the back of the horse behind Paige.
Yeah.
And I'll wrap kind of like my arms are like. Does it have a saddle and reins or a bareback?
You got 2 horses with saddles.
I'm gonna take this horse. You can
Do you ride?
absolutely not.
Swear jar.
Tal is stressed.
Can I tell which horse is the lead?
Yeah, make a land vehicle check. Intelligence with proficiency, I guess? Or wisdom, because it's animals?
Wisdom.
Yes.
12.
You can't really tell which one is the lead, but the way that they are currently saddled up is both of them attached to this sled.
Can I climb onto the sled instead?
Get in the sled.
You can get in the sled.
This seems like a
Great.
land vehicle. Do you have any experience with these?
Let's go.
And Ma Dobbins has been like, I warmed up these horses for you, and whoa! And Kyler pulls Ma Dobbins off as you rip off northward.
The whole time, as a true person with 12 siblings, I told you so, I told you so, I told you so.
As you guys book it off northward for a hard day or 2 of riding.
Barry sword guy.
You are now stressed, but not wanting to relay this to create further tension. You've seen sort of the stress that is around. You've seen sort of like Logain settling again and speaking with Dirk and calming both of them. And you maybe don't want to relate this. At a certain point, do you imagine you would tell Dirk? Fully up to you.
Dirk tends to
Lior?
freak out when you talk to him. Just know that.
100%.
You
Choose your words.
Trees.
Lior cares for Dirk deeply, but he's still thinking about how Dirk told Logain about the sisters.
Yeah.
So he's gonna keep his cards close to his chest for the moment. He's gonna wait till they're closer.
Okay.
He's gonna be as vigilant as he can be, knowing that danger is out there.
Yeah.
But he will wait until the right moment to let Dirk know that.
To respond to his question, I would have said, we're coming.
Okay.
Even more reason not to tell me. Backup's on its way.
You have an uneasy day and an uneasy night. And the next day, the weather clears up a little bit. It's still snowy terrain. But the anxiety that is in the pit of your stomach just continues to grow and grow as the trees grow more scarce and sparse and you understand that you are now coming closer and closer to Garen's Wall, to this cliff that divides the country of Gildan from the world around it. And this anxiety builds in your stomach and builds up into your chest and begins to focus itself in your chest, on the right side, almost where it meets your shoulder. And you start to consider what that might be. And your eyes widen with realization as you realize this is where you were struck and nearly killed by a murdral. And that sense of anxiety only grows and grows as you walk, emerging from the Dalian forest and heading towards the cliff that marks Garen's Wall. And as you ride desperate as you can north, with many dangers possibly converging on your friends. That is where we're going to end tonight's session.
Am I supposed to interpret that there's like dark fiends after us again? The f is going on, Leah?
I don't know what it means. I thought I was having a heart attack, okay?
I thought you were having a heart attack too.
I was like, heart attack, arthritis, old age?
Imagine before the final combat, I'm like, you have disadvantage because you currently have like acute angina.
No, I imagine Tal is just like galloping through the forest just with that gurgling sound echoing in her ears, just like real nauseous.
Slit some dude's throat, man.
Scent
I
white
know.
cloaks
I know.
after my brother.
Oh, man.
What has Tal done in this entire campaign to make you think she wouldn't slit his throat?
Yeah,
after
it's
that?
almost literally the first thing that she did.
Oh, man.
But it was the
Coming full
no
circle,
hesitation. Like,
I told
yeah,
you
it
what
was,
I do with you. I slit his like not no one could have responded. It's like
I made
slit
you a
his
promise.
throat. Like
Honestly, Pete was like, this guy, he's really gonna...
How
we
else
need
were
to
we
know
gonna-
everything. Everything is gone.
Well,
Given lots of
y'all.
information.
Listen, there's a lot of things.
you're still here. Thank you.
There's a lot of things coming up to the cliff face at Garen's Wall from a lot of different directions. What are they? What form will they take? We're going to have to wait until next time on the season finale of this arc. If you want to stay tuned and catch what happens, you can catch that next Tuesday evening at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the traumatic conclusion of this story. Until then, I've been Brad, and this has been Who's Taking Watch? The Dragon's Might.
For only a little while longer.
You're all gonna die.